So there are many code-related things you can do with ChatGPT. You can use it to generate code, either entire apps, especially if you have no development experience. There you might have to test and improve these apps over time in an iterative process until you have the result you want. And as a developer, as you learned, you can of course also use ChatGPT to generate code, individual building blocks to be precise, which you still might want to refine through an iterative process, but which you then compose together to build an overall application manually. But you can also use ChatGPT for debugging, for understanding the code, and of course, as you saw, for identifying improvement potential, for understanding how your code could be improved, and as you also saw, for refactoring that code. Now, besides using ChatGPT for all these code-related tasks, ChatGPT can also be very useful for generating dummy data, because you're not limited to generating code with ChatGPT, or blog posts or tweets. No, instead you can also generate dummy data. And since, especially during development, you often need to work with dummy data, with dummy users or dummy products, this can be a very useful ChatGPT feature. And you could use a prompt like this one here to again assign a role and then give ChatGPT the goal of generating some dummy data. In this case, some dummy user data, where I then also add some extra context to specify how that data should be structured. That every user should have a name, an email address, and a password. And if we send this to ChatGPT, we quickly get some dummy data to work with. Now, of course, here it actually gave me all that data as plain text, and whilst this might sometimes be what you want, especially when writing code and when working on an application, you might need that data to be in a different format. And therefore you might want to add an addition like this to your prompt, where you basically set the output format of the response that's generated by ChatGPT. So that here I want JSON data, and that I just want that JSON formatted data, no other extra explanation, but that this data should be formatted as code so that it's a bit easier to read and copy and paste. And by sending this prompt, indeed, I get this JSON formatted data here, and just that JSON formatted data. And once ChatGPT is done outputting it, we can of course simply copy that code, copy that JSON data, and use it in our application as dummy data during development, for example. And you can of course use ChatGPT to generate any kind of dummy data you might need in your application.